Good morning, everyone. So, welcome to the Inspiration Talk on Friday, your little input for your inspiration. Hello, Bridget. Hello to South Africa.
Hello. If you can hear some being in Africa, if you can hear sounds of guinea fowl, it's just part of Africa. I can't control that if you can hear it.
No, I can't hear it at the moment.
Oh, good. But they get very noisy. They have fights and all sorts of things.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so we are talking today about how do judgments limit your life? Do you have like a kind of example or something where you experienced that, or do you have clients who are always in this limiting domain, I would say?
Well, interesting you say that. I've recently had a situation with a client who I could sense I was asking for something, and I got a sense that they were getting quite irritated about the situation. They were like, keepers, but you're wanting this and you're wanting that, you're wanting this. And what I actually realized in that situation was the person is coming from their stuff. They've got their stuff, you've got your stuff. And I think a big thing is getting the actual context of the situation, because you've got your stuff, they've got their stuff. And if you're going to feed into each other's stuff, for me, it becomes a big ego thing. Okay, well then, but I thought you meant that. And I thought it can become a huge thing. Whereas if you stand back and go, okay, let me try and look at it from the other person's perspective. Let me put it into the right context and let me not be in fear, because for me, fear is a big thing. Because then people start doing threatening things. Oh, well, then I'm not going to call you, or well, maybe we shouldn't continue this, whatever the case is. But, they do some kind of a threat, which makes you feel fearful and then makes you not stand up for yourself. So I think all of that kind of, for me, ties in. It's about, what are you saying? What is the other person saying? And take that for what that is, take away the ego and take away the fear. So I don't know if that kind of is in line with what you're saying, but for me, that's very, very, I really resonate with that.
Yeah, I realized that when I had a time as well where I didn't feel well, and I never learned it not to judge people unconsciously, because then there is a situation, somebody says something, you take it personally, and then it's like a domino effect or something. Yep. And then you think, okay, this person doesn't like me because of, and that's judgment. And if it's such a relief if you learn to put the judgment away and see the situation as it is, just reality check, neutral. Is the person really, even if it's for pupils, you write a number 4. In Germany it's number 1 is the best, and I don't know how it is in South Africa with points or something, but we have it like 1 to 6, and like a 4 is not if with the judgment it's not a good grade, but at the end a 4 is a 4. So,
but also
some people say it's nice because at least I got a 4. I didn't do anything for this test, and I did a 4, so it's a great grade. And for also, others,
you can see it as a room to grow, room to learn. Like, there's nothing that I've ever done, whether it's done, whether it's a course, whether it's done, a rate, whatever I've done. No matter what the feedback, there's always room for growth. So you can't always look at whether it's a 1 or a 4 or a 6. It is definitely how you choose to look at it, for sure.
Right. And that's the thing, what we already discussed in other talks. You choose, you take the responsibility of all the actions, of all the situations you have. And if you do that, and we had a nice talk about how would you be without your story, it's aligned with that, because if you put away the story, that's also the story about the judgments you do, then sometimes it relieves, there's another perspective, there are doors opening because you didn't see them, because you were so in the judgment box that you wouldn't see the other possibilities.
I think what does tie in with that for me is that when things are not in flow, so when things are, I don't know, it's just, you can feel that there's a bit of a disconnect. then maybe it's not so much around judgment, but maybe again, it kind of ties in with the course we've written. It's around, well, what is your purpose? Because I fundamentally believe that if you are doing what you're meant to be doing, all of that, whether you see it as, you know, room to grow, whether you see that as feedback, whether you see that as criticism, however you see it, but that's part of it. But your ego isn't as involved because this is what you are born to do. So whatever you've got to do, the failures, the challenges along the way, that's part of the journey if you are doing what you're meant to be doing.
Right. And also, it's not so exhausting anymore. That's also when you do it in personal growth and in our course as well. If you realize where you put a story on, or what, like if you are in this kind of sacrifice mode or victim mode, then everything is so exhausting because you rely to so many things in as in other people or in other conditions. And so, and if you put this away and think, okay, what do I have in front of me? What are my talents? What is the situation really about with all this story, without all these stories, then it gets a completely different quality. And it's yours, it's your situation, it's your, how you feel it, how you live it, and not how you judge it.
Exactly.
And that's an eye opener for many people I had in the coaching, and you as well, I guess. So because then it's your way that opens up, and it's not like clustered from all these, I would say, shit from others, from other situations.
Yeah, and I think that's where it actually helps having a mentor or having a coach or somebody that you can have a discussion with, because suddenly it's like, oh, okay, because I've actually just done a podcast now, and we were talking about emotional sobriety. And, you know, the person I was doing the podcast with, she was like, let's be clear about what that is. And I said, okay, well, let's put it like this. If you were an alcoholic or a drug addict and you wanted to get clean, you would go to rehab. But you can't go to rehab for emotional roller coaster extreme. Like, there's just no rehab for that. So you've got to do the rehab yourself. And part of that is looking inward and managing yourself and taking responsibility and living in the present. And part of that is judging yourself less and it's just accepting yourself for who you are. And not, I was listening to a podcast today with Jane Fonda, and she says, you know, it's not about being perfect, it's about being whole. And I love that. I love that, because that's exactly what it is. It's just about being whole, doing the best you can, given what you know. That's all it is.
Yeah, right. And it's also, you feel it as well, that something is opening up in yourself. And but even what you just said, that you realize what it's inside you, you have to work on yourself, but sometimes you don't see the way. So for that, a mentor, a therapist, a coach, it's always very helpful to be the Absolutely. I would say the travel guide always. Because so you never learned it, we don't learn it at school, so this is a big thing, and it's your life, and you have, as not you have to, but it's in front of you, and what you create and what you do is your thing. Why don't you do the best version of it?
Exactly. And I think if you can find somebody to help you look inward at yourself, to work on you, the whole world changes, because it always starts with you. Always, 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 always. So whoever that person is, if you can find that person, I just think it makes the journey a lot easier.
Yeah. And we can say it's all in you. It's all in yourself. You have like a big package to unpack, and it's amazing when it works. And when you find your way and you see, this is the real quality of my life, and that's my why, in a way. That's all ties in from different parts, what we are talking about here.
Yeah.
Thank you for your opinion and for your support. And we hope that everyone who is watching has a little, aha moment. And then we are looking forward to meet you in the course. And then, have a great weekend. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.